Hey everyone, I'm TH Pine and welcome to 911 Operator. What is 911 Operator, you ask? I like to call it an emergency call and vehicle management simulator. It just released a few days ago and this is what it looks like. If I sound a little weird today or stumble over my words more than usual, then that's because I'm a little sick and my throat feels weird. So I'm sorry for that, but let's get started with the game anyway, shall we? So this is a map of San Francisco, which is the second level of the career mode. And you can see I have various different emergency vehicles stationed around the map. I have police cars and police bikes, I have ambulances and a medical chopper, and I have fire trucks and a fire chopper as well. And then there are stations on the map. There are hospitals in white, fire stations in red, and police stations in blue. And right now the game is paused because I didn't want the actor to start before I start recording, and I can change that with the time controls over here. We have a pause button and we have different speeds. This is slow motion, this is regular speed, and then two fast forward modes. Let's start the game and see what happens. You see the police vehicles, they patrol around, and then the incident popped up, and that makes me pause the game instantly because that's pretty important. You can pause the game with the P button, which is a weird button, like it's a weird hotkey for. I guess it's P for pause, but it's pretty inconvenient. It's not very easy to reach on the keyboard, and that's especially weird because there are no other key bindings. There are no key bindings for resuming the game or different speed options or anything. P doesn't even unpause the game, which is very unfortunate. So I'm a little pissed about that. It would be nice to have proper key binding for those buttons, but we don't. Anyway. Let's talk about incidents, shall we? There are two different kinds of incidents, regular incidents like this one, and then the voiced over ones, which we will experience very soon. But let's start with the regular one. So we got an incident, we can click it and it will highlight it over here. This is a mixed incident, it's a medical and a police incident, because it's a home invasion. Suspects have entered a house, probably with hostile intentions, so that's pretty dangerous, obviously. And it says need for medical assistance, injured one. So we have one injured person, and police intervention needed, suspects 2 possibly armed. That's actually pretty heavy incident to start with. Two potentially armed suspects. That means we need a bunch of police officers getting there. We also need medical support there, obviously, to help the injured one. So let's send the ambulance over there. And I think we send both of those police cars over there, and that should be hopefully enough police officers to deal with that. So let's press wait and see how this continues. Well, actually I have to continue time, obviously. So now you can see them moving over there. Actually, while we're at it, let's spread out our vehicles a little bit because they're a little bit clustered over here. I want to have more medical vehicles at different points in the city. That's pretty important. I think we can have this police bike over here as well, and maybe this one down here. Okay, so the vehicles got to the incident, and that changed the UI over here. There are different tabs, as you can see here. This one is only important for the voiceover ones. This one is the one we had earlier when we got the incident, and now we are on site, so we get more detailed information here. It shows our forces on the left. So the first police car arrived, so we have 4 police officers there. You can see their equipment and their rank and stuff like that, and the name and a few stats and stuff like that. And on the right we have the incidents, I guess, or the different parts of the incident. So there are 2 suspects. They're both armed with it seems like a bat or something. I think that's a bat, and 1 injured person. You can see there are lines if I hover over the police officers, and basically it shows what they are doing right now. So those are dealing with the suspects, which is their job, obviously. But I could also order one of them to deal with the injured person. That's not a good idea right now because she's not heavily injured, so she's not in the risk of dying, and the ambulance is getting there in a few seconds anyway. And police officers are not as good as first aid as a doctor, obviously. They're better at dealing with suspects. That makes sense, right? So let's keep it how he did it on default. Why did I close that was not what I wanted. I wanted to continue the time. There we go. Now our doctors are there as well, and you can see they instantly jump on the injured person, and now we got an emergency call, so we have to take that. This is going in real time. It's slow motion time, but it's real time, so we have to respond to this, and if we're not responding quickly enough, he will actually interrupt and ask if we're still there. There we go. Usually you want to ask where first.
Are there any injuries?
Yes, 2 people have some injuries.
That's bad.
Just a moment ago.
Do you know who caused the accident?
I don't know. Should have asked
Vehicles blocking traffic.
that one first.
One of them can't be moved.
All right, sir. Please wait for the emergency services to arrive.
Okay, so that's a pretty complex incident, obviously. So we need police to, well, handle the accident, obviously. We need medical assistance to handle the injured persons, and we need a fire truck to get rid of the cars blocking the road. So I send all of those over there, and we also get another incident over here, which brings us in a bad situation because, well, actually, no, I know how to solve this. So there's a heart attack up here. So one injured person. Luckily enough, we can send a chopper there. So the chopper is super quick and he doesn't have to follow roads, obviously. But he can only transport one person, or one injured person, I should say. I think there are 2 doctors on there. And I think that's a good job for the chopper to get up there and solve this incident. Let's take a look at this thing. So apparently the ambulance is leaving already because they got the injured person. Maybe not. Wait. What did they do? Oh, they might have actually beaten down the other guy, and they put it in the ambulance. I think that's what happened, because there's only one suspect left. I guess they did beat him up or shoot him down, probably. I don't know. That's one of the big issues I have with this game. It doesn't give you great feedback. They say under fire, they're not really under fire. They're fighting, but fine. They don't need backup. There are enough people anyway. But what I actually wanted to complain about is the lack of feedback. So I don't know which person is in this truck. Why is it in this truck? Again, in general, you don't get a lot of good feedback on your incidents, which is a little unfortunate. Ambulance is... What is the ambulance doing? Why are you leaving? You don't have... Oh no, this is actually... it says resolved. Weird. I guess they picked up the woman. I'm not sure where the other suspect go. I guess he died, potentially. That might have happened. Not sure. So, okay, yeah, apparently the other one died. So we got one in arrest and one just got shot down. And the injured person is on the medical car. So I guess that's what happened. And now they're heading to the stations to get the persons there. So I could send them somewhere else, which... I could send the medical car down here. He will not be able to pick up all the injured persons, but he is there quicker than the other one, which might be important for first aid. We could also take a little road up there to the hospital and then go down there, which would take a little longer, but therefore we can pick up both of the guys. I think that's a better idea. Let's do that. We send him there. You stay over here somewhere. And, okay, let's continue the time and take a look at this incident. So we have... sorry, we have the caller who caused the accident. So the police officers will deal with him. Maybe they should deal with the passengers, which are injured though. Oh, yeah. Well, they are not heavily injured, so I guess they're not dying. So I guess we have time for that. Well, let's see. It doesn't say the amount of injury actually, which is a little weird. It usually shows that. I'm not sure why it isn't now. Usually it shows injured or heavily injured. I think I tell the police officers to actually help those persons because I don't want them to die, because that gives minus points, and I don't want that, obviously, and also I don't want him to die, obviously. But yeah, I mean, it's a game, so the goal is to get points, right? Okay, there's a heart attack over here. Well, good, we have this ambulance free. Can send him here. We have to take a look at, keep an eye on this ambulance car, because as soon as he gets to the hospital I have to reorder him. It would be nice to be able to give him like multiple orders, but like with shift click like you would do in a real-time strategy, but that's unfortunately not possible. That would be really convenient actually. Okay, I think I can speed up time a little bit, maybe a little more. Let's actually take a look here. Yeah, it seems like the officers are capable of helping them. I still want to keep them at it. I don't want them to die, so I just keep them on helping them, the injured ones, and wait for the ambulance to come there to just pick them up probably. Oh, there was another incident. Well, that's unfortunate positioning. How long does this one take? 40 more seconds, but he will take a while to get down there, but I think that's still a good idea. We have to deliver the injured one to hospital first. I guess we send him there, and then... Or actually, no, send him there. There's a hospital here. Yeah, I guess that's a good idea. Let's try that. So let's continue with this. Okay, so he delivered the injured one to the hospital. Now he can go down there. And the chopper is going here, please. Zoom out a little bit. So you can see there's a lot of things going on at the same time. It can be even more than that, and then you get a call. Okay.
This happened.
That's unfortunate.
Do you have any injuries?
No, we're fine.
Let's send those over there while I'm talking to this guy.
Your attacker's still in the area.
They took a car and drove away.
What kind of car was it?
A red pickup, but I don't know the plate.
How long ago did this happen?
A moment ago.
All right, sir. We'll take care of it. Just wait for emergency services to arrive.
Yeah, I will.
Okay, so it should be enough to send police down there. I'm probably not going to be able to get the robbers because I don't have any car near them. But maybe we'll see. At the same time, I'm going to try to solve this one. What is this actually? Oh, that's fucking dangerous. There are 3 possible armed people. It's a beating. I guess my police bike is not enough. You go over there? That will take a while, but fine. Okay, this is not going too great right now. But let's actually send this fire truck down here and just hope for the best. We're probably gonna fail a few incidents, I fear, but okay, so we spotted the beating. Actually there are only 3 suspects. Well, let's hope they don't fight back. So far they're not. So far they're just getting arrested. That's good. Okay, we have another incident over here. Technical job. I guess we sent a chopper. Wait, was it? Cat owner has reported his pet unable to climb down a tree. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna send the chopper. Get the cat down. Oh god. Okay. This chopper is done with this job. This should be fine. This is hopefully fine. So far they're not fighting back. That's very lucky. If they would fight back, I would get into trouble probably, because this police car will take a while to get there. We have to get them there anyway because I think we're gonna arrest some, so we'll probably have to take them to a police station. Okay, it's important to regularly pause the game and see if everything is going well so far. I think we're good though. Seems like this incident got resolved. Didn't pick up any injured. Did they die? Weird. Maybe they should not have. No, maybe. Oh, I guess they don't have to go to the hospital. That's what I mentioned earlier. Like, there's a lack of feedback. Did I mention that, or was that in the previous take of this video? This is not the first take of recording this. Anyway, there's a lack of feedback. I'm not quite sure what happened there exactly. Did they die? Did they not have to go to the hospital? I think it's the latter because I helped them. But still, like, there's a lack of feedback. The incident is just gone. It just is boop. It's gone. I mean, I think I can. No, that's actually only the current incidents going on. I don't think I can get more information about it. I get some rescue calls up here under fire. Need backup. That's bad. I think it seems like they started fighting. No, maybe that's old. I'm not even sure from when this call is or from where. So this is weird as well. Like, in general, the interface is not great. As I said, my main issue is I don't get a lot of feedback on what is going on. I would like to have a resolution to this incident. I will get a short resolution at the end of the shift, but I would like to have a resolution now. What happened there exactly? Also, you don't, like, those incidents are super generic. I don't know what happened there exactly. Is there, like, was it, how many cars were involved? What happened? How did, like, some story. I want a story. I want something to, not just facts and numbers. That's, like, part of the game, like, part of the enjoyment of this game comes from, I think at least, or to me, or would come from being engaged in what is going on. But all those incidents are extremely anonymous. And super generic. There's nothing going on, or there's stuff going on, but I don't know anything about it. There are no details and nothing, and no feedback, and that's a little frustrating to me. The call, like, the voiceover ones are a little better. They're also, like, the voiced over, the part is good. The rest of the incidents just as regular incidents as well. But the voiceover parts are pretty cool. Some of them are pretty well written and acted, I think. Then again, there's one weird thing about them. There are well, modular, I guess. So sometimes you get the same call, but it's not quite the same call. Like, it's the same person talking, and it's a similar dialogue, but it's not exactly the same one. So the number of people involved might be different, for example, or more severe things. But so and that's weird because that, like, I mean, that's good because it means more variation, but it's also bad because it shows how generic those are as well. Because they're just modular, they're just randomized, and there's nothing special going on. There's no story, there's nothing. And I played this game a while ago. I actually made a video about this before. And yeah, my biggest, like, I was pretty impressed by it, and my idea for it was that there should be stories going on. And oh, actually, I got the guys. Oh, interesting. So there should be stories going on, and those stories should be told through those emergencies, through those calls, through feedback from or resolutions from the incident, stuff like that. And there could be a main storyline going on, maybe about a crime boss, like, getting different things done, or conquering different districts of a city or something like that, and you try to fight it. Or maybe there's a mass murderer going and then a serial killer going on going through your city, and you try to find him over several shifts maybe. And there could be interesting storylines, but there aren't, and that's pretty unfortunate, I think, because that's a big opportunity missed. I don't think we're going to finish the shift. I'm going to show you a little more of the gameplay here, but then we're going to jump out because this will take a while. There's another call, okay.
911, what's your emergency?
Oh, that's one of the interesting ones. But it's the third time I get this one, or at least this one variation of it.
If you can't talk, please press any digit on your phone, okay?
So the response is randomized. Like, there are multiple... Oh, interesting.
Hello? Is anyone there?
Usually it beeps at some point. I guess not in this case. Okay, usually it beeps and...
Hello, sir.
Oh.
We got a 911 call from your phone. Do you have
Interesting.
an emergency?
Excuse me, it's my phone. I accidentally called 911.
Sir, are you having an emergency?
No, I'm not.
Please lock your phone and make sure you won't call 911 by accident again, okay? That way you won't take up an emergency line for more important calls.
Of course, I'm sorry.
Interesting. I hadn't this version yet. So usually, but that's what I mean. Like, it starts as a few others I had, and that's what I meant about the random generation. So usually it beeps, and then you try to figure out with a number of beeps what situation is going on. And sometimes it's a terrorist attack, sometimes just a hostage situation, sometimes they're armed, sometimes they're not, sometimes there are multiple people, sometimes there's just one, and it's all modular, and that is good for variation, as I said, but it's also bad because it shows how generic those are, and it just takes at least for me, it takes a lot of the pressure, maybe, or not the pressure, but the engagement. Oops, I ignored. Okay, so I didn't want to do that. Did I ignore this one? Not sure. Did I ignore something actually? Wait, I never pressed ignore before. Oh, it actually disappears if I do that. Okay, so I just ignored two incidents, which is obviously not a good idea. But anyway, so yeah, I think we're gonna jump out of this. You see how this works. Like, that's we have like a little more than 1/4 of the shift done, and it just continues like that. And it usually gets pretty hectic. There are a lot of different incidents at the same time. An unrealistic amount, I think, but it goes pretty crazy. Actually, for a big city, it might be reasonable. Anyway, so it gets pretty crazy at some points, and you will not have enough vehicles around to solve everything, and you have to try to manage resources, which is interesting. Like the management, like the resource management, and trying to get all the incidents done, or as many as possible, resolved positively is obviously or is an interesting task to do. But it gets pretty repetitive after a while. Let's jump out of this and actually show you the management part of the game. Well, this is part of management as well, but like the meta game management, I guess. Not really that meta game. Not sure how to describe this. It's the vehicle and personnel and equipment management, maybe. Okay, so you can see San Francisco, I had one duty so far, so before we go into second duty, we can change our squads. So therefore we have different vehicles and different personnel and different equipment, and we can buy new vehicles and stuff and equipment if we want to. And we have money down here 40k, and we can purchase things for that. We could, for example, purchase another, well, maybe not a helicopter, it's a bit expensive, but we could purchase another police vehicle, another bike. So we press the buy button, and actually we have multiple vehicles left over. We should make new squads and deploy them. Didn't realize I had a few more left over. Well, now we have to equip them with people. We could drag them down here. You don't have to fill the vehicles completely. You can just put one person in there, but obviously they will be less effective. We could also recruit more purple. We could also recruit more people, which probably is a good idea. Do we have the money for that? Yeah, we should. We have, so that's good. Let's get a few firefighters in here. Actually, let's get him in here. And police officer on a bike, and one of the medics in the ambulance, maybe two. There we go. Okay, and now we could equip equipment as well, which gives various boni. So a bulletproof vest makes the police officer, well, obviously harder to kill. System terminal, what's that actually? Provides easy access to the 9/11 database, which reduces the time involved in resolving cases. Oh, cool. Okay. And you can buy weapons or a first aid kit, stuff like that. And I don't find this too engaging, but I think it's a nice touch. But it's too much micromanagement for me, especially the equipment part. I think that's way too much micromanagement, but that's personal taste. So some people might like this level of detail that's available here. I'm not a big fan of it, to be honest. But fine. That's personal preference. So that's what you have here available. And now we come to a pretty nasty topic about this game, because there's Day 1 DLC, and that Day 1 DLC is a little weird. So this game was kickstarted, and one of the Kickstarter rewards, and in my opinion, having this reward was the big mistake, was additional equipment and vehicles. And incidents as well, actually. So there are 8 extra vehicles. I think a bike, not a motorbike, but like a bicycle. And what were the others? I don't know. A bunch of different vehicles, like 8 different vehicles. Extra equipments, like a taser, for example, and I think a police dog and stuff like that. And also a few more random incidents. And those were Baker rewards from Kickstarter. And they decided to take those rewards and put them in Day 1 DLC and sell them for $4, additional to the base game, which costs, I think, $15 on release. And that's a really weird way of doing things, because it just like it feels like part of a core game, or it feels like it should be part of the core game to me anyway. Like the variation of different vehicles is not that huge in the first place, so. It would feel sufficient to me with those extra 8 vehicles, maybe, or at least a little bit more sufficient than it is right now, but they're not there, and I don't know. It feels really weird to strip them off the game, and I don't say the DLC is the problem. I say the having them in a Baker reward, which is only accessible to the Bakers, feels like, why would you do that? Why would you put a reward which makes the game better, only available to certain people? That's fucking dumb. Wow. Why would you do that? I don't know. I don't understand this. I mean, the reason obviously is to have a reward, but I think, or a meaningful reward, but I think it's a terrible way of handling rewards, because you make the game worse for everyone else. That's really not a good idea in my opinion. I mean, if you have like cosmetic rewards, something like that, okay, that makes sense. I mean, you could make the same argument there, but usually people are less, like, for most people, cosmetics are less important than actually game mechanics. But for some people, it's still important, so even then you can make the same argument. So, locking parts away in rewards or locking parts of the game away in rewards doesn't seem like a good idea. And now putting them in Day 1 DLC that kind of makes sense, because that allows everyone else to get them as well. Without making your bakers feel like, like they might feel bad if you just put it in the game for free. Now the bakers feel bad because they got ripped off. Basically, they paid for the reward and everyone got it for free, or not for free, but they have to pay the game. But anyway, you know what I mean. But so putting it in Day 1 DLC is kind of reasonable, but. Like under the circumstance, but having to be in this situation, or being in this situation because of their reward, is just because it makes like basically have to buy the DLC to get the full experience, and that's really annoying. And it's even worse because of some people. I cannot confirm that. I just read that some people reported that without the DLC, you will actually have a hard time continuing because the DLC is not giving you power, but it gives you choice. It allows you to get a few more cheap vehicles and a few more specialized vehicles, which in general gives you more power indirectly because you have more choice and you can respond more precisely to different situations, or buy something cheap to have more vehicles available in general, stuff like that. And some people have reported that it gets really hard to progress in the game without that DLC, which makes it even worse. And I think that's really unfortunate situation this game, or the developers of this game, maneuvered themselves into, really. It's their own fault. They should not have put it up as a backer reward. That's just a terrible idea. But anyway, it's there now. So you have to make up your mind for yourself if that's an issue to you or not. I would just recommend, think about it as get the full game with the full game is including the DLC. So just up the price to $20 or $19 or whatever if you think about buying it. And yeah, I think that's the best way of looking at it because it really feels like it should be part of the core game. And yeah. Anyway, okay, so that's a career mode. I talked about what I like and dislike already. Like, in general, I like it, but there could be more, and it gets pretty repetitive after a while. Like, I enjoyed this for the first hour or maybe two, and then it gets really repetitive. There are multiple maps, which is kind of interesting. So you start in Kapolei, which is a very small city, and then you get a few reputation points and money, and you will unlock San Francisco, and you play there. And then there are actually a bunch of maps, lots of maps, as you can see here. And there's even more than that. I will show you in a moment. There's a really cool feature. Anyway, let's talk about career mode first. So it's good that there are multiple maps. I like that. Wait, did I actually unlock New York? No. Oh, it just shows the map. Oh yeah, because it has to download the map before you actually play it. The maps are not downloaded from the start. You unlock new maps, but you don't transfer your stuff, which makes sense, I guess. Like, you would not transfer your vehicles from one city to another. That would be unreasonable, but from a game mechanic perspective, it feels a little weird because every level is like a reset. Okay, you could say, okay, those are separate levels, and you play for a while in one level, and when you had enough, like if you got enough reputation, you unlock the next one, you can continue the next one. But it still feels like they feel unconnected, and that's not a worst thing in the world, but it could be. I'm not sure how to improve this, but I feel like it is possible to find a better solution to this situation. Anyway, that's how the career mode works. And then there's one other mode which is really cool. There's free game, and free game lets you play in any city you want. And when they say any, I mean any. You can type in any city name up here. And you have if it's a small city, you have to toggle the search small towns check button here. I did put in my home city, not my birth city, but where I lived for the most part of my life. It's a pretty small town in Germany, and what the game actually does, if nobody selected that city before, I think it's what it does. It goes to Google Maps and takes a picture and parses the picture and transfers it into an in-game map. And let's jump into this because this is really cool. So you can do this with any map, with any city you want. And it takes a few minutes to convert the map, and then it will just download it when it's done, and then you can play it. And this is extremely accurate. This is really cool. This is exactly how the city looks. Like I lived here for the biggest part of my life, exactly there. Or maybe it's there. I'm not sure. But somewhere there in this area. That's as precise as this is. And the really cool thing is even the hospitals and the fire stations are correct. Like, yes, that's where the fire station in our town is. That's where the hospital is. It's not like it's a mental hospital, but okay, it's a hospital, so it's not wrong. And there's a fire station here. I'm not sure why there are two. I guess maybe there's a wrong entry in Google Maps or something. I'm not sure. But yeah, there's the fire station. There's the hospital. This is accurate. Apparently, this is the only police station. I'm not sure. Maybe, do we have a police station? I don't think so. So this might actually be accurate. I don't know. It's possible that some things, like some hospitals or police stations or whatever, are missing from... I'm not sure if they take Google Maps or some other source, but that is missing from the database, so they will not pick it up. But it's really cool to be able to play in a city you know, especially when it's a small one like this. Like, this is a really, it's not ridiculously small, but it's a very small town. And I can just play here, and the roads are accurate, the roads are correct. The layout of the roads in the city and the stations is correct, and that's really, really cool. I really like this feature. This blew my mind when I saw this. It's not that crazy, actually. Like, if you think about it, it's not that hard. You write a parser that's capable of parsing map information from Google Maps or some other database. When someone puts in a city name, you just put that in the search engine, take the picture, parse it with your program, which is not too hard. You have to, taking the road information, maybe it's actually not based on Google Maps, but based on some open navigation software probably. Well, Google Maps can be used for navigation as well. But you just take a navigation software, strip the database, take a picture of the map, or pass a picture of the map to make it look like the map in-game, take the road information, and put it over as an overlay, and you're done, you're golden, and add information for stations, obviously. And it's not that hard, but it's genius that they thought of this, and that they have this in here, because I think that's a really nice feature, and is a big appeal to a lot of people who want to play this game, to be able to play in your hometown, or wherever you want in the world. You can play in Africa, in Australia, in Asia, wherever you want. Wherever you want. It's really, really cool. Yeah, on every small island of the world, basically. So that's a really nice feature. I love this. Anyway, overall, as I said, the game is a little repetitive, and I'm probably not gonna play more of it just because of that, mainly. It gets super stale because there's no, for me, there's no engagement, because those incidents are also generic and without soul. There's a soul, yeah, soulless is a good word to describe it, I think. There's just, I know they're just randomly generated thingies popping up, and I have to manage them somehow. And that can be, and that's interesting for why, because the decision making of ordering your vehicles around and splitting them up and whatever is kind of interesting, but it gets super repetitive after a while, as I said now for the fourth time, whatever. And I would have liked to see some story going on, have more of those voiced calls, and have them maybe actually scripted and not modular, or at least some of them maybe, and have have better feedback on every incident, and maybe have like an overall storyline that is getting told through those incidents, through those voice calls, and through the resolutions of the different incidents. If you're creative with that, you could come up with crazy things, like as I said earlier, like a drug boss who's taking over the city, or a serial killer, or whatever. Something, get creative. Do something like that. It would have been amazing. I don't think it's going to happen at this point, because the game is released already. They said, yeah, they will work on it with the money from the release and from the DLC. They will work on more features and stuff, but I don't think they will implement such a core mechanic that will change the game around that much. So I guess that's not going to happen, but that's what I would have liked to see, and what would made me play more of the game. As it stands though, I'm just gonna uninstall now, because yeah, I'm done with it. I played it for 2 hours or so, and now I'm getting bored of it. I'm gonna play other games, but it's not a terrible game, don't get me wrong. And if you're into that kind of stuff and you don't mind a little bit of repetitiveness, feel free to check it out yourself. The link is in the description below. Just again, keep in mind the DLC. I recommend getting it with the DLC. It makes the base price higher, obviously, because you have to pay for the DLC as well, but I really recommend getting it with the DLC, because it just increased the variation quite a bit, and that's obviously a good thing. So yeah, but you have to decide for yourself, but keep in mind that the DLC has core gameplay elements in it. So let's leave it at that, shall we? Okay, it's called 911 Operator. As I said, it released a few days ago. The link is in the description below. I'm TH Pine. Thanks a lot for watching. Have fun, and see you next time.